Now to the state of the nation's housing market. We know what a mess it is in and the difficulties facing buyers who actually want to get a foot on the ladder. I mean, any of us who've got younger kids in their mid-20s, I mean, the chances of them getting into a house are pretty slim. The issues around costs and taxes are particularly grim, especially for Victorians, because we've got many more taxes associated to housing than any other state. Everything from a vacant land tax, can you believe that, to the burden of stamp duty. Dominic Bagnato is an architect whose online rants, or observations would be a kinder way to put it, have highlighted the madness of the local market, and it struck a real chord on social media. Have a look.
Victoria, the tax state. That's what actually should be on our number plates. If a developer decides to build a project, they're hit with a contribution fee, a tax. If the average mum and dad buy an investment property, they're hit with land tax. If the average person buys a property and it stays vacant because they can't rent it, they're hit with land tax and vacant land tax. If you're going to buy a home, your dream home, the government says, oh, we need some stamp duty, tax, more tax.
Dominic sums it up perfectly and joins me in the studio. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me.
I know why it resonated. Every time that I would go out socially, people want to run through those real estate taxes and ask me why they're there. Well, we know why they're there. The government's broke. The
government's broke.
So they attack real estate.
That's right.
Are we the worst taxed state in the country when it comes to those?
We are the worst tax state, Steve. I travel interstate regularly. There's such optimism interstate. And in fact, they look at Victoria to peck us like crows. We are taxed to the hilt. I get calls every day from the average mum and dad, friends. They're in despair. They're stressed. They fear. For the first time ever, they suddenly realise these taxes aren't directed towards greedy developers or unscrupulous builders. For the first time ever, they're going after mum and dads.
Well, I'm old enough to remember the rust bucket state of the 90s, and I've often compared it. I wasn't going to be unkind enough to suggest you were that old. People were fleeing Victoria for that very reason, that they were being taxed out of existence. I mean, there must be evidence that people are leaving this state or encouraging their children to go and work interstate because they know that they're never going to be able to get into the property market.
Steve, their jobs are on the line. If you can't physically build, you can't apply your trade, and there's no hope, they're getting into planes and they're leaving. But it's causing distress. It's destroying families. It's breaking the whole fabric of society. They're moving to places they don't want to go. They're leaving home. It isn't just about the affordability of homes, but the whole of Victoria is changing. It's not the Victoria we recognise anymore. It's just fear.
You pulled all those taxes together. Is there one or two that you think really stick in people's craw? I mean, from where I stand, a lot of my mates, it's land tax.
We've always had land tax, and developers, mums and dads, they've always accepted it. But this vacant land tax, it's criminal. I mean,
Explain to our national audience how that works.
Well, at the end of the day, if you aspire to buy a block of land, the government says, we're going to regulate your dream. If you don't build within 12 months, they will tax you above land tax for having your land vacant. If you renovate or extend your home, you have a period of time, a couple of years. If you don't build or renovate or finish your home, they're going to hit you with a vacant land tax. So they are now controlling the way we live. If you have a beach house, you better occupy it 4 weeks of the year or we're going to hit you with a vacant land tax. This isn't about housing affordability. It's about revenue raising.
I see cranes on the horizon. I presume there is some building going on. But when I look closely at it, what it is the state government using Victorian taxpayers' money to build government housing.
But at the end of the day, Steve, the pipeline has stopped. As architects, we know a year in advance we have work. The phone stopped ringing a year ago. There is no work on the horizon. So we're fearful today, but in 12 months, it's going to get scarier. So, yeah, I don't even think they're building social housing. I don't see any housing.
What's the solution? Do we need a housing summit? I mean, forget about the rest of the country. Victoria, is the government prepared to talk about this, or are they just so broke that they need to keep
they're broke.
Taxes on people?
No, they're broke. These taxes are here to stay. In fact, I think they're sitting around trying to work out what other taxes they can employ. for the first time, people realise now they're going after the average mum and dad. So, yes, the answer is cut the land tax, cut all taxes to increase supply. But, Steve, that's not enough. On the cold face, we need some planning reforms at local government. We can't get buildings built. You can cut all the tax you want. If we can't build the buildings, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure if you ask the average developer, would you rather pay land tax and have a shorter period of time at council? They'll take that.
So why are the councils so slow and inefficient?
They say they've got no money, no funding. You ring them up and they don't answer the phones. When you get someone, they're working part-time. When they're working part-time, they're working from home. When they're on holidays, no one replaces them. It draws out the whole permit process. Now, people think it's just drawn out for developers. But if you want your home built, as many people do, they're saying, Dom, I'm not waiting around 3 years to have my home built. No, thanks, I'll go buy an existing one. And what does that do? It puts pressure on supply.
How many TikTok views on your video?
Not TikTok, Instagram. I just hit 1 million in the last 30 days.
Not really?
I was actually proud. I actually took a screenshot. But look, people are ringing me, Steve. They're resonating with what I'm saying. It's real. It is. This is not a tax. Actually, forget it. It's not a land tax. It's an attack on dreams. The dream of owning your home was always something this country allowed all of us. Now it's a tax on your dream. Don't dare to dream. Don't dream in this country.
Well said, Dominic. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks,
do another
Steve.
video, get another million
Excellent.
views.
Good on you. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much for your time, Dominic.